Hello and welcome. I want to talk more about the abortion and what I went through after having that abortion, the depression, the anger, the hate that I felt. I got into such a deep depression because what I did, well, what I was forced to do, it wasn't something that I wanted to do. I was forced to do it. I had no other choice, and I had to have this abortion because um, if I didn't, I believe that the anger, the beating, and the sex would get even worse. So I had to not only be um, a mother, but I had to continue to not allow the girls to see me depressed or crying. It wasn't easy. I would go in my room a lot. They would be in the front room playing. I would go in my room a lot when he was at work, and I would lay on the bed and I would cry and I would cry and I beat myself up with words. I would just sit and I would stare. I would sit and get in a deep thought, wanting so bad to be out of this relationship, wanting so bad to be happy, wanting so bad to feel. I didn't even feel I didn't feel clean. I just felt dirty. I just couldn't look at myself as um, a good person. I looked at myself as a bad person. Here it was that I kept saying to myself, I killed my baby. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to talk to about it. I couldn't understand why I felt he hated me so that I couldn't understand what I did so wrong to be in this type of relationship. But I just didn't know how to get out. I wanted to be free, but I didn't know how. I was too afraid. I was miserable. I didn't seek counsel. I didn't seek out nobody to talk to. I didn't. I was too embarrassed. Here it was that I had two girls and got rid of a baby because I was forced to. And it didn't bother him. He wasn't he the only reason why he was upset was because he felt that it was another man's baby and he couldn't prove it. And he just looked at me like I was dirt, but he wouldn't let me go. I couldn't leave. He told me that constantly. You better not never leave me. You better not never walk out on me. I heard this constantly. So if you're hearing something constantly, all the time, it tends to grow on you. And there's a lot of days I smiled, but behind that smile there was so much frustration and depression and just hateful, thoughtful words. Things I kept rehearsing in my mind. What I kept saying to myself. I would take my girls, I would hold them, I would hug them. They would always ask, Mom, you okay? I said, yeah, Mom's okay. Mom's just a little tired today. But I couldn't show them the hurting mom, the disappointed mom, the troubled mom, the bitter mom, the hateful mom. They never knew anything about I was pregnant. I didn't tell them. And I definitely wasn't going to tell them, they're young, what they know about, I had an abortion. I couldn't say that to my girls. They wouldn't understand. And then, like I always say, I didn't want their dad to look bad in their eyes. So I didn't talk negative about their dad. But in myself, I talked about him. I was hating him. So whenever he would have sex with me, I would just lay there. I had got to the point I just didn't care because I knew it was coming. I knew, he was, going to have sex however way he wanted to have it. I didn't have no say-so in how he performed sex on me or how he wanted me to perform sex on him. I had no say-so. So I accepted it. Because I didn't want him to be so angry at me that the girls would see it and he might say something to hurt them. So I took everything that he did to me. I took it. Every negative word he said about me, I took it. Every time he called me out of my name, I took it. What was I going to do? Tell him you better stop talking to me like that. I was bold to myself when he wasn't around, but when he was around, I wasn't bold. I was too afraid to say anything. And then when he would want to, some days he would come home and he was rather high, very high. He wanted me to go riding with him. And I didn't want him to drive. So I drove. And when I drove, I better not hesitate and stop and look at a house or anything. He was just, in a sense, he was so, I don't know if you could say paranoid. He was so afraid that, in a sense, could I say afraid? He was just, I don't know. It's like I was locked in a house that he had the keys to it, and I couldn't go nowhere unless I got permission. One time we was driving down a highway, and he decided he wanted to drive. He wasn't filthy drunk, but he had been drinking. And I allowed him to drive. We didn't go far, but that was the time the girls was down at his mother's and stay all night. And he just wanted to put more fear in me. So if he drove like a mad person, I didn't care. I was so depressed. I just didn't care about what he did, how he acted, or anything. And I had to get myself up out of that because I didn't talk to him about how I felt about, having that abortion. No, I couldn't do that. But I knew that I had to get up out of this depression. And it was days where I buried it, didn't think about it, so I could function. I had to be a mother so I could function and raise my girls. But that abortion took something out of me that I had no control over crying. I mainly cried when the girls were asleep, when he wasn't there. I did had a lot of my down days when my girls were at school or down to his mom's or when he wasn't there. But eventually, I buried it so deep down in me that I didn't even think about it anymore. It was like it never happened. Even though I knew it happened, I buried it so that I forgot about it, wouldn't talk about it, never again, didn't think about it. I had to make sure I took care of my girls. So I buried it. I kept it hidden. I didn't even tell his mother nor his sisters. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't have any friends. I wasn't allowed to have friends. I definitely didn't tell my mother or my grandmother or my sister. Nobody. I told nobody. Kept it to myself. So I understand what it feels like, what you go through if you're forced to have an abortion that you didn't want to have. I know. But I was determined to be a good mother to my girls. And I was. I loved them so much that I did not want them to experience any of the frustration I was going through. I kept a fake smile on my face. So I understand. And I'm not here to judge anybody. If you had an abortion, I understand. I'm not here to judge you or anything like that. I'm just here to tell you I've been there. I know what you're going through. I know how you feel. I know how it hurts. And I'm here to let you know that it does get better. It does get better. One day at a time. Remember, one day at a time. Don't give up hope. Don't give in to failure, defeat. Keep pressing on. Keep pressing on. If you have children, they need you. Your mom and dad, sister and brothers, they need you. Keep pressing on. It gets better. I pray that said something to help you and to explain to you. I understand. I pray that you continue to listen. Continue to stop by and continue to walk forward to your destiny, your freedom, because you can. It will happen. Like I always say, the Lord loves you, and so do I. Have a blessed day, blessed night, blessed morning. I don't know what time you're listening when you're listening to this, but be blessed. Thank you for listening.